The Professional Bowlers Association returns to the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's the Bears run to a Touring Players Championship. Our opening match features two players from the state of Pennsylvania vying for bragging rights this evening. Our fifth seed owns 3 PBA titles and rolled a 300 game on television earlier this year. From Erie, Pennsylvania, please welcome Mr. 300, Bob Learn Jr. His opponent is seeking his second career title and first since 1994 from Milton, Pennsylvania, Andy Neuer. The winner of that first match will meet a player trying to win outside the city of Edmond, Oklahoma. He's seeking his third title, this time in the city of Pittsburgh, from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Steve Jaros. This next bowler is going for his 12th career title. This is his 9th TV appearance this year from Jackson, New Jersey, Mr. Parker Bohn III. And finally, our top seed is the 24-time champion on the PBA Tour and the reigning Iowa PBA Player of the Year from Indianapolis, Indiana, Mike Aulby. Let's go up to PBA Hall of Famers Marshall Holman and Mr. Mike Durbin.
Thank you, Bobby Dickens. We've got an outstanding event, a marvelous cast, a raucous crowd. They're excited. My partner, Marshall Holman, is excited. He's with our opening 2 players. Let's go to Marshall.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's an electric atmosphere. We're with Bob Learn, the number 5 qualifier, trying to punctuate a great year.
Hey, I don't know what to say, Marshall. It's just been incredible. Just been incredible.
Well, I watched you practice. You were throwing nothing but strikes. You got to feel confident.
I'm going to have a good time today.
All right, Bob. This man to my right, he's got little to say to that. Andy Neuer, you were throwing a lot of strikes in practice, too. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good tonight. I'm looking forward to having a good time here in my hometown state. Get it on.
All right. These 2 guys are ready to go. I'm ready. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Marshall. You've met our top 5. Let me tell you a little bit more about the top 3. The player in the 3rd position, Steve Jaros. He's a 12-year veteran of the tour. He's won twice while he's been out here, but if he wins tonight, it certainly would be his biggest victory ever. The bowler in the number 2 position is an 11-time champion. He's made the telecast 9 times this year, but he's still looking for that first victory, Parker Bohn III. And our tournament leader is Mike Aulby. He's the current PBA Player of the Year. He's won 24 times in his career, plus 2 ABC Masters titles. He's earned over $1,700,000 in career earnings, and a victory tonight would be one more jewel in his crown toward one of bowling's all-time greats. The players are at the ball return. The handshake, my partner Marshall Holman is here. We're ready for the opening shot.
Mike, this is so exciting. I'll tell you, it is more than electric here in Robert Morris. As we see Bob Learn on the left-hand lane getting ready for his opening delivery.
They did throw a lot of strikes in practice. I was watching.
They certainly did. And this looks like a good shot. There's Bob Learn with his patented strike.
Well, Bob Learn, the last time that he was on an arena telecast in Pittsburgh or in Pennsylvania was Erie. He broke all kinds of records that day with 300 games.
Yes, he did. I don't see him averaging quite that much today.
Andy Neuer trips that 6-pin.
And Mike, he might have got a little slow on that first delivery, but he got that nice kick of the 6-pin.
And this crowd will certainly get that adrenaline pumping and pick that speed problem up in a hurry.
I wouldn't think it should be too much of a problem. Both these guys are very, very excitable. I know Andy, he likes to get going, likes to flail those fists and really enjoy himself while he's throwing strikes.
Andy Neuer is 31 years of age from Milton, Pennsylvania, 5'9", 165 pounds. And what a bad break. a light 7-10.
Now that is unfortunate. You know, that could be the fact that he thought he threw the ball too slow on the frame number 1, and frame number 2 a little more speed. He'll throw hard at the 10 pin, tries to bounce it out and gets the count of 9.
Got it over that side of the lane anyway, but that's all. Bob Learn finished second last week. As we said, he's from Erie, Pennsylvania. He's not a huge guy, 5'6", 175 pounds.
And you hate to give Bob Learn that type of break early in the match.
Will it get it?
Yes! Oh, they like that here. Bob Learn just willed that pin down. As you can see, his 5-step delivery. Bob Learn with a low profile, starts the ball down low, pushes it away, shoulder high backswing, and really puts a lot of spin on the ball. Now watch this ball coming into the pocket, coming in light. Looks like it's nothing but the 10 pin, but here comes the messenger. Is it going to fall? You bet.
Back line. He takes advantage of it. Bob Learn with 3 in a row.
And right now, Bob Learn's had 2 good breaks. He's had the unfortunate 7-10 for Andy Neuer, and then he got that 10 pin to fall in the second frame. He's taken full advantage.
Andy Neuer back on lane 4. Perfect. We should mention that we're at the Sewell Center of the Robert Morris College.
As we see Andy Neuer's form, bowling from the left-hand side of the lane. He's also a 5-step approacher, gets the ball started in his second step. Another shoulder high backswing, and really puts a lot of power coming through the ball.
He seems to hook the ball a lot more now than when he first came out on tour.
He likes to either hook the ball a lot or go very straight. Not much in between for Andy.
Oh, 6-pin in between strikes this time. Can't get a break on that left lane.
No, and he's made a very good shot. A good adjustment for the 7-10 where he came in light, but just a little bit high in the pocket. Didn't trip it. Now he'll shoot for the spare.
Has the spare, no trouble. Andy Neuer trailing by 32 pins in this event. Bob Learn on 3 in a row. We all know that he can throw a lot of strikes. Will he continue? We'll find out right after this. The Tourney Players Championship is brought to you by Bayer. We cure more than headaches. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. Trying for 4 in a row on lane 4.
Oh. Going for another late 10 pin. This time it stands.
6-pin got halfway up on it, but didn't knock it over.
Yeah, and you'll see Bob Learn throw the ball very hard and straight at the 10 pin. An excellent spare shooter.
Bob Learn, we talked about his performance in Erie. 300, 270, 280, 279. Not doing bad in Richmond either. My goodness, 5 and 2, 267. Thing about that is he's lost 2 games averaging that, Marshall.
Yes, those are incredible scores. Bob told me all he had to do was throw the ball slow and it would always come back to pocket. That was his concern, keeping his speed down so the ball would hook back to pocket.
So he's worried about amping it up a little too much.
Especially on the left-hand lane, he said that's the lane where the 210 combination could come into play. Now for the left-handers, I was told by Parker Bohn, who'll be bowling in a match in a couple of games, that the right lane was a little tighter for the lefties.
Not tighter for Andy Neuer right now. They see that's a 2-4-6-10.
And that was a bad shot. As soon as he let it go, did not project the ball out on the lane. It hooked early, went right through the heart and left a big split.
How's he make it?
Well, he needs to get the ball to the left of that 2-pin. He's got a chance to make it. It's not impossible.
I asked Andy how difficult he thought it would be to win tonight.
Well, I don't think it'll be too difficult. I'm going to be the underdog, so I'm not really favoring any of the matches. Parker and Mike are great players. Before I get to them, I got to beat Bob Learn, another Pennsylvania boy. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, right now, he's not having too much fun as he has 2 splits in the first 5 frames. That picks up his enjoyment.
Well, there he gets the messenger strike for Andy Neuer. He's kind of shaking his head. I think he's still concerned about what happened in the previous frame where he left that big split on lane 4. Now, Bob Learn doesn't want to give Andy Neuer any chance. He's had a couple of light hits on lane 4 where the 10-pin has barely fallen one time and stood the other.
Yeah! He's talking to it.
And you know, Mike, when he gets it going in an arena final, he just keeps striking.
Well, he just seems to feed off the energy of the crowd and raises the level of his performance.
He certainly does. And his wife, Stacy, is from the Pittsburgh area, so he has a lot of fans here. He only lives a couple hours north in Erie.
Well, and he only lives a couple hours away in Milton.
That's right.
It's the Battle of Pennsylvania right here.
Get her on, hold it.
Ooh, well, it was get up, hold it. Overreaction there.
Yes, he said it overreacted on him. As I said earlier, he wanted to make sure he threw the ball slow, especially on lane 3. Might have got a little too slow on that shot.
3, 4, 6, 7. Going straight, trying to hit the 3-pin on the right, I presume. And 7 out. So Andy Neuer has an opportunity. A chink in Bob Learn's armor. His once big lead is reduced. Can Andy catch up? Well, we'll find out right after this break. Stay with us. Andy Neuer, 7th frame, trailing by 38 pins in his first television appearance of 1996. Maybe the biggest shot of the game right here.
Well, it certainly is, Mike. And, you know, it looked like Bob Learn was just going to take the game under complete control. Oh, with that strike, he could have gotten back into it.
All-Pro receiver, former All-Pro from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lynn Swan. Now an announcer with ABC.
Everybody loves bowling, Mike.
He was here last year.
Yes, he was.
Cross lane at the 10-pin. Has a couple of expressions for it as he walks away.
Yeah, that was his chance to get back into the match. He really needed to get that strike. But he still mathematically has a chance to win this match. Bob Learn gave him the big opening in his 7th frame. Andy Neuer in the 8th frame.
Right there. Bob Learn still leading by 38 in the 8th frame.
Just needs to mark with good count. Working on a 209 pace, and Andy Neuer can shoot 211.
Sends it out.
Hold up. Hit. Yeah.
Perfect. NHL hockey. It's a rematch of last year's bitter Western Conference Finals when the Colorado Avalanche take on the Detroit Red Wings. That's tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern Time, right here on ESPN.
This can pretty much lock it up. I said Andy could shoot 211. He can only shoot 201, and Bob Learn going on a 209 pace.
That's good. Come on.
Before and 9, we're up there.
Well, you can hear him say, that's good. Come on. He liked that shot. He maybe should think about making a little bit of a step to the left on that lane. He needs to adjust. He's coming in high.
4-pin. Cross lane going straight at it.
All right.
No problem. Andy Neuer still barely alive, but he's almost on oxygen right here.
Well, he has to have this strike right here. He's down by 38 pins. As I said earlier, he can strike out for 201 and actually force Bob Learn to mark in the 10th frame, but he has to have this one right here.
Perfect.
And there's Andy Neuer's wife, Angelina.
Andy heads for the 10th frame, and we don't pull the life support systems yet. He's still breathing.
He's still got a chance, and you know, if he can just muster up a couple of strikes here and force Bob Learn to mark in the 10th frame, there's all sorts of things that can happen.
First one in the 10th. And held.
That's right. He knows it. He knows that's a good shot. Angelina likes that one. A little smile.
One more makes Bob Learn mark in the 10th frame.
And when it,
right behind the bowlers. Sorry, Marshall.
And when it looked like Bob Learn had the match well in hand after 4 or 5 frames, it's once again coming down to the 10th frame.
Again, proving how quickly it turns around on the PBA Tour.
Well, you've got to give him a pat on the back. A lot of credit. He's come back from big-time adversity in this game with opens in the 2nd and 5th frame.
And really only one bad shot, the one in the 5th frame. The 7-10 was in the pocket. The 10-pin in the 7th frame was in the pocket. A strike here. He finishes with 5 in a row and 201. That's enough. Bob Learn is going to need some kind of spare or strike.
And Bob Learn doesn't want to shoot any spares. He'd like to just get this shot in the pocket, get the strike, go on to the next match.
Hold on, Ian. Hit.
That's enough.
There's the power of Bob Learn. Hits the pins light, spins them off.
And we got signs popping up all over the arena showing strikes.
Here's a look at the shot that closes the match out, makes Bob Learn the winner. It's going way wide, but threw it slow enough, came back, just annihilates the pins.
This one's practice right now.
Just trying to keep himself loose. Well,
Bob Learn, one more. We'll finish with 219 and 9 strikes, I believe, if I count that right. Perfect. Oh, it leaves the solid 9, but doesn't matter. The Learn family, Brandon, Brittany, and Stacy, they're happy. He's happy. Stay tuned for the average builder coming up. It actually is going to be the last average builder of the year, and it deals with targeting. We'll be back after this. For our final average builder of 1996, I thought I'd like to talk about targeting, and specifically targeting on synthetic lane surfaces. Our pros this week are bowling on the Brunswick Anvil synthetic system. And I believe that synthetic lanes are the wave of the future. Sooner or later, just about every bowling center in America is going to have synthetic lanes. The question is, do we target differently on them than we do on natural wood surfaces? Well, fortunately for us bowlers, the manufacturers have put all of the same dots and arrows on synthetics as is in natural wood. They put a series of 5 dots on either side of the lane, left and right, 7 feet out on the lane that we can use as a target. They also have put the dovetail or rangefinder, a series of 7 arrows 15 to 16 feet out on the lane that we can use as targets. Those are the same. The difference is that on synthetics, every board is just about the same color. It's light in color. Where on natural wood, a lot of the boards are darker, and we can use those dark boards as targets. However, the same basic rules of targeting apply in each case. And what are those rules? Well, first of all, a target is something that we should look at but never aim at. Aiming tightens us up and makes us less accurate. Second, a target is something that we line up with, and it acts as a lure for us. We should walk toward our target. The target draws our body toward it. And then the classic rule of targeting, I believe, is that we should always look but never aim. And if you apply these rules, I think that you'll find your accuracy will improve. Well, that wraps up our average builders for 1996. However, ESPN will be back in 1997 on Saturday afternoons, and I'll be there with a whole new set of average builders. Bob Learn has some fans there. They're looking for a 300. We're looking for a 300. So is he. Match 1. Bob Learn wins 218 over Andy Neuer's 200. He'll be back to take on Steve Jaros right after this. That's pretty good advice for all of us, but it applies to one of our contestants in our next match, Bob Learn, who will start off our second game of the evening.
You don't really like to give Bob Learn too much added confidence because in the last 5 years he's built up quite enough on his own.
Well, Andy Neuer did it on that same lane in the opening match.
That's a terrible break. But he knows that was a good shot, so He feels good about his delivery.
He'd like to throw 2 balls at it, but can't do it. You can only throw 1 as he fires at the 10 pin.
It moved.
Well, a tough way to start. He is extremely relaxed, even leaving the 7-10 and only getting 9. Doesn't seem to bother Bob Learn too much. He knows he's got 9 more frames. The game is still very early. As we see Steve Jaros, his opening shot on lane 4.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, the pin went down, tried to get back up, and then fell.
And virtually the same shot that Bob Learn threw with the ball hitting light in the pocket. It's 10 pins for Steve Jaros. Averaging 215, qualifying 3rd in this tournament. A rather low scoring average. The lanes were very, very difficult at Olympic lanes in Harmer.
And a lot of times there are challenging conditions for major championships. Is that right?
Well, there certainly are. And plus, that was a wooden condition, and this is synthetic, so there's a big difference there.
Steve Jaros comes right out with a solid double.
And that ball looked to be a little bit left of his target, but it held pocket all the way down the lane.
Bob Learn trying to get back on track on lane 4. Second frame, second match.
Come on. Come on, hit. Yeah.
He got it. Both of our players tonight are wearing the microphone so we can listen in to their encouragement of their bowling balls.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, Bob is going to get up on lane 3 and try and throw the same ball he threw the last time. He expects to strike when he hits the pocket.
Come on. Catch around the corner in. Yeah. That's it.
The crowd likes it. He likes it. Steve Jaros ignored it.
As you can see, Steve finished 2nd earlier this year, so he has been bowling well. He'd certainly like to get a chance to bowl one of those lefties for the title.
And a soft 10 pin. As always, ESPN has all the scores all the time. 28:58 past the hour. Cross lane at the 10 pin. And he will have an exact 10 pin lead if he converts his spare.
And he's switching balls to throw the ball harder and straighter.
All right.
And no trouble picking up the 10 pin. As you can see, Steve Jaros, another one of our, well, he's only a 4-step bowler. Starts the ball out in his first step, shoulder high. Really a very long step between his 3rd and slide. Blowing a little air into the thumb hole.
What does that do?
It just helps to get a little bit more tacky feel for you so you have a better grip.
Well, he got that one in too, but that one didn't hold.
Wait for it.
3, 6,
Come on.
9, 10.
He said he didn't wait for that ball.
What does that mean?
Wait
Well,
for the swing.
Apparently he wanted to get the ball into the swing a little bit sooner, and he didn't wait on the ball. Wasn't able to get his body under the ball and make a good delivery. That was even further left than his last delivery.
So will he hook it into this marsh or go straight?
Well, I think he has to hook it into this particular spare because of the 9-pin sleeper.
Perfect conversion, and there,
That is a double.
the newest sensation in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers running back Jerome Bettis, who's an avid bowler himself.
Well, the people here are going wild for this kid. Over 1,000 yards in rushing already.
Well, tit for tat right
That one
there.
didn't exactly lay off.
No, it certainly didn't lay off, Bob, but that ball was high as soon as he let the ball go. That was slow. It was set down short. Didn't give the ball a chance to get to the right and come in light in the pocket or flush in the pocket.
Again, a difficult spare, and he'll do the same thing.
I would certainly think so. You've got to hook at it because you want to get that sleeper pin. If you throw it hard and straight, you risk missing the back pin. He's hooking it.
And he's converting it too. He had a bad break and left the 10-pin to lose last week. I asked him how he put that behind him.
Well, you know, you got to forget those things. It's another week that's behind me. Even if I did win last week, I'd have to come here and forget about that and come on and do as good as I can this week. It's a big tournament. Really pumped up. I've been going well, and I'm just really excited to get it going.
Trailing by 10.
Come on.
Ooh. 2,
That
4,
might be a
8,
little difficult.
10. You're right, Bob.
Easier spares.
Now, on this particular delivery, as we're going to see a replay of it, I think he's adjusting for the shot on the right-hand lane where he got the ball high. Wanted to make sure he gave it room. Gave it too much room.
He's going straight at this one. He's open, falls further behind. Steve Jaros in a commanding position right now, leading by 26 pins.
And it's unusual to see Bob Learn lose a lane. You know, once he finds it, he usually gets locked in and does nothing but strike. But now he finds himself really struggling as Steve Jaros has the opportunity to put even more heat upon him with a 26-pin lead.
Come on.
Perfect.
All right, take your time. Come on.
See, Steve Jaros certainly likes Edmond, Oklahoma, and he likes the month of August right there. Both of his titles, 91 and 93.
Really quite an underrated player. Not a lot of people really know about Steve Jaros. The guys on tour do, but the people at home may not be as familiar with him as they are with Bob Learn.
Well, this is only his 6th career championship round appearance, his 2nd of 1996. Oh, 4-0. Wow. Well, Marshall, does he go for this, or does he play it cozy and get the out?
Well, it depends on the count right now, and with the way the count stands, if he would go for it, he would end up being even in count with Bob Learn, so you might just want to take the one.
Is he going to hook it into it or go straight here? He's got his other ball. He was going for it, but 9 out. That cuts the lead down to 14 pins. We're halfway through the second match. Bob Learn is trailing, but we know that he can strike, and we'll find out how many he gets right after this message. Stay tuned. Mike Durbin along with Marshall Homan. We're at the championship round finals of the Bayer Brunswick Touring Players Championship right here at the Sewell Center of the Robert Morris College. In our second match, in the opening match, Bob Learn defeated Andy Neuer 218 to 200. He's in the 6th frame, trailing by 14 pins in our second match.
But he's got new life after that 4-9 by Steve Jaros.
Hold on, but it didn't. The 3, 6, 7, 10.
6, 6, and 6. That's not a good number.
I was thinking the same thing. Cross lanes the 3, 6, 7, 10. He has a chance to make this.
This is certainly a makeable split, and one that Bob Learn desperately needs right now.
Come on. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
He thought he had it. Instead, he's open for the 3rd time in 6 frames and trails by 25 pins.
Well, it was a demanding condition at Olympic, and it certainly seems to be a demanding condition here at Robert Morris.
Especially as that oil seems to carry down the lane.
That's what seems to be happening. It must be, because they were doing a lot of striking prior.
Try.
Oh, look at this as we see Bob Learn trying a whole different line. He's moved right. He's going to throw this ball harder and straighter.
Come on up.
And a terrible break.
Come on up, it did.
Break.
But he still leaves the 8-pin.
Very unusual pin action on this shot, Mike. The 8-pin would normally be taken care of. It wiggles a little bit, but...
Well, that 5 scooted right by it on the right.
And Bob Learn didn't waste any time trying a whole different line.
He figures he's got nothing to lose right here. Steve Jaros' mother, Ellen Jaros, knows that her son's in very good position right now. 7th frame, leading by 25.
Ooh. And fortunate just, well, he leaves the 2-pin. It's kind of halfway down, but when the machine touches it like that, even if it had fallen, Mike Durbin, it would have had to been reset. He's smiling.
Get a mechanic down there to get it set up.
As we could see, it looks like it's a 2-pin all the way, and then it's rolling around, but the machine touches. They'll reset that 2-pin, and Steve Jaros shouldn't have any problem making that.
And the people in the crowd don't like the fact that they're going to reset it, but they have to, according to PBA rules.
He just asked to shoot it while it was down, and there's his fiancée, June Dobelauskas. They're going to be married.
June what?
Dobelauskas, and that is September 6th, 1997 is their wedding date.
Boy, that's great, Marshall. I'm proud of you right there for that, that pronunciation. Dobelauskas, huh?
That's what she said, and I hope I got that proper. That's
sure you did. She's certainly as pretty as her name is long.
Yes, it'll be much easier when she becomes June Jaros.
The JJ, right.
There you go. Getting along just fine with her future mother-in-law-to-be.
Finally, to get the 2-pin set up, Steve will shoot it now. Grab.
And it shouldn't be any problem making the 2-pin.
Hooking it at it to see if it comes up, which it does. Steve has been on tour for 12 years. I asked him if he felt he was improving as far as consistency was concerned.
All right. Yes, I do. I believe with the amount of time that I've been out here, I've gained a lot of maturity. I've been able to make a lot of decisions now that I may not have been able to when I first came out. And every year I seem to be getting a little bit better, a little bit higher in the standings, and it's a goal just to be up at the top every week.
8th frame, leading by 25. Perfect. What's Learn going to do now?
Well, we'll have to see if Bob moves to the right on lane 4, and it looks as if he's going to. Moving further to the right on the approach, going to throw the ball harder, not hook it quite as much as he was from that inside position.
Hold it. Yeah!
Still alive. 8th frame, trailing by 25, but he's got a strike here.
Well, he certainly does. 198 is the best he can do. As we watch the pin action of this last shot, he's playing further to the right. Now here comes the ball. It's hooking hard. Fortunately, trips out the 4-9. But he needs this double. Good trail by only 15.
Come on! Yeah!
Still over there.
You know, and it's as if Bob Learn has a switch that he turns on when he really needs to strike.
Well, when your confidence is that high, sometimes things like that happen.
That's right, Mike. Now, Steve Jaros, he has his own destiny in his hands. If he can strike on this ball and get a good fill in the 10th frame, he will win this match, leading by 15 pins.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just amazing. I mean, that was a very good shot. He can't believe it.
The third one of the night, won by each of the 3 bowlers that's performed on the telecast so far.
As we watch this ball go down the lane on lane 4, it's coming in. It's trying to get up there. It's light, 7-10.
At the 10 pin, hoping it bounces around, and it doesn't. So Steve Jaros has suddenly tightened this match up with an open in the 9th frame. He now has a 4-9 and a 7-10 in 9th frames, and now leads by only 3 pins.
And finds himself in a position where he cannot have his own destiny in his hands. He can only shoot 191. Bob Learn with a possible 198 as Steve Jaros takes a re-rack. Didn't like the way the pins were sitting.
Either that or he's buying a little time to regroup.
And that's possible. I know I used to do that back when I was making telecasts. Sometimes you just don't feel ready and you need a little bit of extra time just to get your composure back. He certainly needs to be striking right now.
Doesn't like it. Oh, but he gets the break.
Well, he paid the full penalty on lane 4 with a 7-10. It looked like a good shot. And then on lane 3, it looked like maybe not a good shot. Was able to get the strike. As we see his last shot, You can see he doesn't like this shot. Oh, my gosh, what have I done? Oh, I struck.
Yes, justice.
About time I caught a break.
The cry of all PBA players. For the double. Wow.
Oh, boy.
He needs to get at least 3 of these to keep that lead at 1 pin.
Yes, he does. He thought he threw a good shot. He threw that ball, and he liked it. But the lane must be carrying down. The oil must be going further down towards the head pin, and it just kept on sliding.
Gets them all. Finishes with 181. But Bob learned if he strikes, can win this match.
As we see Steve Jaros just going for count. That's as good a count as you're going to get.
And the pin came back out of the pit to get the 10 pin.
And the last time Bob Learn needed a strike to win a game, he left the 10 pin.
Last week, Walter Ray, well aware of them. Oh, he got it.
You just don't give Bob Learn a second chance.
No afraid to let go of that, baby.
Boy, he gave that ball a lot of room, Mike Durbin.
It banked.
Oh, my word.
Is he going to flirt with that outside angle again? Or
He's going to throw this ball hard and straight.
Hey!
You heard him yell save. He's an amazing player.
Little tap of the hands there. Steve Jaros disappointed, but still the consummate sportsman.
Well, you don't have a year like Bob Learn's having without having a lot of good breaks here and there.
And he's practicing here, Marsh.
Yeah, he's not even going to try and make this 10 pin. He's trying to throw his ball into the pocket, get himself ready for this next match.
Happy with that shot. Says, how did I miss it?
He's playing to the crowd, Mike.
A nice consolation check for Steve Jaros at $10,000. Bob Learn is the winner here. We'll be back to look at some of the other people that have made money. Don't go away. Some of the other bowlers that made money this week. In honor of yesterday being Veterans Day, Johnny Petraglia finished 8th as a veteran of the Vietnam War. Next year, he'll bowl on both the PBA Tour and the Senior PBA Tour, and he's currently the PBA President-elect for 97-98.
And Leno Monticelli closes out the year with a match play appearance. He'll look to rebound in 1997 from a disappointing year.
The bowler who won the first ever arena finals just up the road in Erie, PA in 1994 is Dennis Horan.
Dave Arnold, he captured his second career title in Reno earlier this year right here on ESPN.
Butch Soper had a great year this year. He finished alternate, and of course, he's our ESPN stats guru.
I'm here with Tom Herrick of Bear and Fred Florjanek of the Brunswick Corporation. And Tom, after a 20-year hiatus, the professional bowlers came back to Pittsburgh last year for the first Bear Brunswick Touring Players Championship, and they've been very, very well received here in the Pittsburgh area.
Marshall, as you are probably aware, Pittsburgh calls itself the City of Champions. So it's only appropriate that the TPC brings this major bowling event to our city. It's generated tremendous excitement and fan support. And since Bear Corporation calls Pittsburgh its home, we and our 2,000 local employees are very pleased to present this to our community and through ESPN to the entire country. Our community is also benefiting in another way. For each ticket sale, we contribute $1 to our local United Way campaign.
Well, Tom, that's great. We really appreciate it. Now, Fred, it's really a unique relationship between Brunswick and Bear that brings this tournament to Pittsburgh.
No question about it, Marshall. Bear is one of our key vendor partners. They supply us with all of our polyurethanes that go into the manufacture of bowling balls, and we were delighted to work with them in bringing this tournament to Pittsburgh.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll have a great tournament.
Houdini Bob Learn escapes from 3 open frames to come out a winner, 186 to 181. That earns him the right now to take on 11-time winner Parker Bohn. Great shot here. The Sewell Center, Robert Morris College. Bob Learn threw a practice shot on lane 2, waiting for his ball to come back. I don't know if it ever came back. He shakes hands with Parker Bohn. Parker's ready.
And I would think that Bob Learn's going to need a little more than 186 to beat Parker Bohn III.
And the ball came back. Bob runs over to get it. Parker says, get it out of the way. There's squealing back there. Not a good sound in a bowling center. Parker, 9th telecast this year. He's 1-8 on television, trying to improve that record. And I find it interesting, Marsh. You told me that he said that right lane hangs a little bit for left-handers, but he's chosen to finish over there.
And I'm not sure if he's done that because he now has more confidence on the right-hand lane, or is it because Bob Learn is struggling on the left?
And Bob has more strikes on the right lane, 8 to 5.
Well, he's staying with that outside line. You know, he switched in the middle of the last game, which really made the difference
in the match.
The match, and him being able to bowl Parker Bohn III.
Leaves the 2-8.
Now, it looks like he's going to the ball that doesn't hook much. I would hook the ball at the 2-8, but Bob Learn knows what he's doing.
He's going straight at it. Never a doubt, Marshall. What do we know?
Well, apparently we don't know too much. I definitely, on a 2-8, I always like to hook the ball into that. It seems to give you a little more area, but Bob Learn very confident, going hard and straight, makes it perfectly.
I think Walter Ray also throws it straight at double with spares like that.
Yeah, they seem to know what they're doing.
Good shot, solid 10.
Bob's pleased with that shot. Not so much with the result, but pleased that he made a good delivery.
Again, grabs the spare ball to go straight at the 10 pin. Right over the 4th arrow, dead flush.
Wasn't always a good spare shooter, but Bob Learn's one of the best now. Parker Bohn has the opportunity to go into an 11-pin lead after 2 frames. Would love to get off to a hot start against Bob Learn.
Parker, 33 years of age. He's now from Jackson, New Jersey. 5'11", 150 pounds.
And something must have distracted Parker.
Did they start the shot clock over?
Well, they stopped the shot clock. There was a little bit of noise in the background. Now they start the shot clock again. He's got 5 seconds, no problem.
Wow. Parker's record, you can see arena finals, his 7th, ahead of the great Walter Ray, some of the others up there also.
Well, Parker makes a lot of TV finals, whether they're arena finals or not. He's a very consistent player. His 9th telecast final this year. As you can see, 217.23. He qualified 2nd with that, and normally that might not be enough to cash. So it was a very, very difficult condition.
Trying for 3 in a row on lane 3. Oh, he's there. Parker's ready. And we should mention, if he wins this game, he will go over the $100,000 mark for the 5th year in a row.
As we said earlier, a very consistent player. As Bob Learn going for his first strike.
On Friday, November the 15th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, The Deuce presents 12-round WBU Super Bantamweight Championship. It's Frankie Toledo versus Cassius Bellotti. Tune in to ESPN2 for great boxing action. Trying for a double. Oh, man. Solid 10-pin again.
Not a bad shot.
Again, picks up the spare ball.
And he made another great shot, Mike, and there really wasn't much he could do about it. He threw the ball where he wanted. 10-pin did not cooperate. Makes the spare.
Clunks it down. The commissioner of the PBA on the left there, Mark Gerbrick, his wife Beth, looking on, enjoying all the action. Also enjoying the sponsor Championship of Brunswick, the Bayer Corporation.
Yeah, it looked, it looked as if Beth knew she was on camera, but Mark was so into the bowling, he wasn't even aware they were on him.
Well, Mark's a 200 average bowler himself.
Yes, he is. Parker going for 4 in a row and really trying to put it on Bob Learn early. Boom! Oh, my gosh, that ball went all the way to the one board. No hang on that lane.
If that's the lane, better not bank it on the other lane.
What a beautiful delivery. Parker's got, in my opinion, the most pleasing style of anybody, whether they be right-handed or left-handed on tour. Just very, very fluid, long backswing, just
effortless, right?
Yeah, a very nice player to watch.
And an attitude to go along with it.
Yeah, he's got the full package. 31-pin lead.
5th frame, working on 4 in a row. Now it's 5. Now it's 5. Enjoying that 5-bagger, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Roger Kingdom. He was here last year also.
And he bowled in our Pro-Am and a pretty good bowler in his own right.
Is he? Another bowling fan is our newest heavyweight champion, Andrew Holyfield. He loves bowling.
There's a lot of people out there that really enjoy this great game of ours. Bob needs to strike.
Just can't get a break in this game.
He takes a deep breath.
Everybody knows with Learn, though, that the X's are just around the corner there. At any time, he can just start stringing and never stop.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's a big-time stick. You watch this shot. My gosh. He did everything in his power to keep himself from fouling. It looked like he was going to go over.
Well, he did a pirouette there at the foul line.
Now we'll watch him shoot at this 4-pin, and he sticks very bad. Look at this. That's a lot of upper body to keep behind that foul line.
he looked like Marishnikov there.
He was having some fun with it.
6th frame on a spare, trailing by 42.
How about that 5-pin? Yeah!
That's it. And Parker checking that approach because Bob Learn stuck right where he slides. And as is our policy with ESPN, that if a bowler has a string going and a possible 300, we're going to stay with the action. We should mention that if he bowls 300 in this game, the PBA will award $10,000. But if they bowl 300 in the next game, AFCA Picture Perfect Game will present a check for $100,000 to the player that can do that.
And Parker is certainly lined in. This is the lane he said was a little bit tighter. He sends it way wide. Oh, he looks really tuned in right now, Mike.
Especially on that lane, I'll tell you.
I don't know if he wants to waste his time shooting 300 this game. He might want to save it for the $100,000 in the title match.
Really? Okay, Mark.
No, I think he wants them now. Anytime he can get them.
7th frame, 6 in a row, halfway there, leading by 52.
Bob Learn still with 248 if he were to strike out, and he'll need to. Parker Bohn with 6 in a row, going for 7, and he throws the ball in the gutter, and there's another amazing break for Bob Learn. Just when you think he's got no chance, something strange happens.
Well, they say trust is a must or your game is a bust, and he trusted it, but too much.
Oh my gosh, just sends it a little bit wide. It won't hook out of that board.
No, nobody has enough fingers to bring it back from that one.
No.
Can he make a spare out of it? That's the question.
Well, there were a lot of gutter balls during the week and a lot of spares made on him, so he'd certainly like to fill this frame up.
He does!
And an excellent comeback.
Parker Bohn loses the 300 game, but stays clean. We know Bob Learn, though, can come back. We'll find out if he can do it right after these messages. Don't you dare go away. What a great shot. The Sewell Center here at Robert Morris College. Bob Learn in the 7th frame, trailing by 42. Last game, he performed his Houdini act. Right now, he's asking to do the Lazarus act. He was waiting for some people behind the curtain down there to clear. Might distract his concentration. Big shot right here.
Well, he just got a great break with that gutter ball from Parker Bohn. Now he needs to double on his own.
Yeah!
Well, he is really something. He's fun to watch.
Down to 32. Headed to the 8th frame. Can knock it down to 22 with a strike here. There's the scoreboard, Marsh.
It's just incredible. Just when, and there's a picture of Mike Aulby. He's watching. He doesn't know who he's going to bowl, and I don't think he cares.
Don't you?
No, I really don't. Trying to cut it to 22 pins with a strike here in the 8th frame. Bob Learn desperately needs this one.
Come on,
hit it way
and
wide.
hit. Yeah, perfect. It ain't over.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
It's not over, is it?
Did you care when you were sitting in that position who you bowled?
Yeah, I never wanted to bowl anybody.
Oh, okay, all right. Parker now suddenly sees that big league shrink to 22 in the 8th frame.
Needs to put a little pressure back on Bob Learn's shoulders.
And he's there. It's Destination Extreme. If the X Games weren't enough for you, here comes Destination Extreme, presented by Slim Jim. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, tune in for the BMX truck riding and incline skating only on ESPN. We're here for the championship round finals of the Bayer Brunswick Touring Players Championship. This is Mike Durbin along with Marshall Holman. We're in the semifinal match. Parker Bohn leads by 22 pins, headed to the 9th frame, working on a double.
And that's the first time that Parker Bohn has thrown a ball in the pocket and hasn't come up with a strike. Right now, Parker Bohn working on a 240 game. If he were to spare strike, spare out, Bob Learn can still shoot 248.
Cross lane at the 7 pin. Has it. Anything can happen in this position.
It's still up in the air right now. It's a very, very key shot here for Bob. He needs to strike here to cut the lead down to 12 pins. And Parker's got to be thinking to himself, God, I had this game won in the 7th frame. What's happening?
Oh, nice shot, Bob. Nice shot. Nice shot.
He knew it right off his
Gee, I
hand.
think I missed. Nice shot.
Well, no positive self-talk there.
No. He made a very poor shot. Needs to pick up the spare. Still has a chance.
Boy, was that good.
3-6-10. Straight at it, cross lane. And has it. But just looked like he almost fidgeted there at the start. He was, from the first step of the approach, that ball was not a good shot.
Yeah, that was an uncharacteristically bad shot in a key situation. Where the heck was I looking? That's what he's saying. I don't know, Bob, but you better look for strikes in the 10th.
Gee, that looks better.
Oh, the old sarcastic self-talk. All pro bowlers are familiar with that. As he strikes.
What an idiot. What an idiot.
Well, I don't know. That idiot has certainly done pretty well. Has made a little over $200,000 this year. Shot 300 on TV. He's won a tournament. And he hasn't lost this match yet, although it doesn't look good for Bob Learn.
Hold on, Ed. Hold on. Cut.
He was yelling for it to hold on, and he didn't. He still left a solid 9 pin.
Yeah, he needed that one for any chance to win this match. Parker Bohn just needs to keep the ball on the lane in the 10th frame.
Already.
But we know that he has dipped one in already.
He's up, and he's out of there.
Well, Bob's a great bowler, and he's quite a comedian.
214 he finishes with. And we see if Parker marks here, well, he doesn't even need a mark. He needs, I think, 4 pins. Or 3 pins, and he is going to win it. He will go over $100,000 for the 5th year in a row. Boy, he said it right out there.
Well, that surprises me, Mike Durbin. I thought he'd go to the middle of the lane, just throw it hard and straight, but Parker says, that's okay. I know what I'm doing.
He does know what he's doing. If he takes this out, he'll finish with 250 and 10 strikes. It sets up the battle of maybe the 2 best left-handers on tour. Maybe the 2 best bowlers on. Well, you have to have Walter Ray's in there too.
Yeah, well, We'll call them the two best left-handers on tour. We'll still give Walter Ray his due. Well, it's going to be a tough task for Mike Aulby, our tournament leader, as Parker Bohn seemingly has the lanes the way he wants them.
And Parker, his opponents there for a while, were averaging 247 against him this year on television. A strike here, he finishes with 250. He says that beats that 247.
Well, it's about time Parker got a break.
He's ready. Parker Bohn finishes it out with 250. He motions to the crowd. He's excited. They're excited. We'll be back for Championship Frame, a review of our previous matches after this. Now it's time for Championship Frame. And in our opening match, Bob Learn needed a mark. He's in the 10th frame, Marshall.
Bob Learn needs a mark to close out this match. And the best type of mark is a strike. He's playing the inside line, throws the ball well out to the right. Here she comes. There's your winner. And he likes it.
Final score, Bob Learn 218, Andy Neuer 200. That set up match number 2. He's again in the 10th frame. It's a different angle, but he needs a strike here to win.
He definitely needs a strike here to win this match. He's moved out. Got a good break from Steve Jaros earlier in the game. Takes advantage of it, strikes, and that's the win. Big emotion from Bob Learn.
The crowd likes it. He likes it. Low scoring, but he won 186 to 181. Now he gets to face Parker Bohn, and here's Bohn in the 10th frame.
And now Parker just needs to keep the ball in the lane. You'd think he'd go to the middle of the lane and throw hard and straight. Parker. He sends it way wide. That's plenty. And he's going to be bowling Mike Aulby.
Parker very businesslike. Final score, Parker Bohn 250, Bob Learn 214. Setting up the match of maybe the two best left-handers on tour. 35 titles between them. Mike Aulby versus Parker Bohn. That beautiful trophy will go to one of these two gentlemen. And we've got Parker Power, Aulby's Army. Boy, they're going to win no matter who wins here.
And two of the nicer guys on tour. In fact, Parker has won the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award 4 times. And last year's Nagy Award winner, our tournament leader, Mike Aulby.
Mike Aulby. Is there an award he hasn't won?
He has done a lot. He's got 24 titles plus 2 Masters. He's got the Triple Crown. He really is a player who has done it all. And he's going to need a lot of those if he wants to win this match, because Parker looked great in his last match.
Parker finishing on the lane that he chose to finish on in the semifinal match. And he did get 7 strikes to 3. He picked the right lane to finish on.
Yes, he did.
However, he's not going to be able to finish on it in the championship game. I asked Parker, what did I ask Parker last time? I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get that in just a minute. Parker trying for a quick double here.
It's kind of early, but they're both still alive for the AGFA Picture Perfect game. $100,000 awaiting someone if they were to get all 12.
Mike Aulby blowing in that thumb hole as he always does.
Just trying to secure the grip. Mike throws the ball a lot slower than Parker Bohn. Very deliberate.
That's Bob Kirk from the AFCA Picture Perfect game. He's from Bayer. They're going to present $100,000 if one of these two guys can bowl 300 in this game, and both of them have started with doubles.
Well, what if they both shoot 300?
That's a good question, Marshall. Maybe they'll go to the 2-frame roll-off.
They'd have to do that. It's for the championship.
But if they would both bowl 300, I would think they both get $100,000.
As you can see, Mike Aulby with a very good record on TV. Oh, yeah. He liked it.
Boy, he's throwing it so much slower than Parker.
That's Mike Aulby's A game. He doesn't like to have to throw the ball hard, likes to float the ball down there, got the ball to stop in pocket. And now for the first time, Parker Bohn's got some heat on him early in a game. You can see Parker's record. He's under 500. He struggled a little bit on television. Not struggling too much today.
Whoa! Hit it! Faked it!
Oh, I think you helped him out a little bit, Mike Durbin.
Broke up that 7-10. You don't want to see anybody get that kind of break.
No.
We've had 3 of those already tonight.
As you can see, his pin action, the ball's coming in light. There's a 7-10, but here comes the head pin messenger. Just barely taps it down.
Cross lane at the 10 pin. I figured out what I asked him. I asked him how he always seems to maintain a positive attitude.
Well, Mike, I kind of look at it that each game I go out to bowl is a totally new game, and no matter what happened in the past, things are bound and determined to turn around.
Well, they turned around in the last game, but right now he trails by 11 in this game.
Well, he could have easily had that strike in the 3rd frame. However, it was almost a 7-10, so he'll take the 9 spare. Go in the 4th frame, try and start striking again.
And he does. Both players lined in.
And it looks like he got away with a little bit of an errant shot there. He got the ball to target where he wanted it, but he got out of the ball a little quick, didn't quite get the good fingers, although had enough to get it back for a light hit.
And he runs back and grabs a piece of tape and now operating on the ball as Aulby gets up in the 4th frame, working on 3 in a row.
As you can see, Aulby's career earnings, he's 3rd on the all-time money list. Could cut quite a bit into that lead that Walter A. Williams had. There's a Thorbagger.
On Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, ESPN presents an NCAA doubleheader. First, it's the Big East versus the Big Ten as the University of Connecticut takes on Indiana. Then at 9 o'clock, it's defending national champion Kentucky and the up-and-coming Clemson. Catch the Classic on ESPN. That's brought to you, by the way, by the U.S. Postal Service.
Mike Aulby going for 5 in a row on the left-hand lane. You know, he's not as flashy looking as Parker Bohn, not as pretty, but so effective and so opportunistic. Always seems to be able to get the job done when he has a chance to win.
And a great mental attitude, too. He has the full package also.
Oh, absolutely. These are 2 of the best bowlers from the neck up. Besides the fact that they're great physical games, they know how to work themselves through a tournament, how not to get upset, to keep themselves with a good chance to do well. Parker Bohn looked like he didn't get the shot off in time. They're pointing at the clock. And he's pointing at a 7-pin.
So that's what, $100 fine? Are they going to inform him of that right now?
I believe that is. I think they're going to be telling him right now. Kirk von Kruger looking at Parker Bohn.
They're going to tell him as he crosses over. He goes cross lane at the 7-pin. Has it. There's the clock. There's our tournament director, Kurt von Kruger. He's telling him, well,
I don't think Parker's too worried about it right now. He just wants to start striking again. As we see Parker Bohn, his first shot on lane 4. Look how far to the left that ball goes. Bad break.
That 4-pin just whistled around that 7. We see the scoreboard there. 31 pins the difference. Aulby working on 5 in a row. Right back in there. Parker, who only had 3 strikes on that lane in the semifinal match, is perfect with only 1 strike on his favorite lane. There's Aulby.
26 career titles, 17 national, 3 doubles, 6 majors. That's
wow, 6 majors. That's phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. And if I'm not mistaken, he has bowled 300 on TV, so he knows how to do it. Did it in Wichita, Kansas. still falling. He's laughing at that one. He's going, oh, I got a nice break.
The 5-pin fell to the left.
I think his wife Tammy and son CJ got to be loving that. As you can see, he's got a chance to get to 1.77 million. Just another 100,000. If he were to strike this game out, he would become the all-time leading money winner in pro bowling.
Each shot becomes a little more important then, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Halfway there.
He's still trying to build a bigger lead to win the match.
Will it give back? No. He leaves the 7-pin.
Well, he makes a quality delivery. He's not too upset over that. He's going to take another ball, go hard and straight, make this 7-pin.
As hard as he can. He never does throw it real hard, does he?
Yeah, he never throws it real hard, but he'll throw it a little bit harder, kill the ball. Once again, Parker was cited with that clock violation, but I don't think it's going to upset Parker at all.
It only cost him 100, right?
Yeah, that's chump change.
However, if it happened again, it'd be a little bit more than chump change.
If it happens again, I believe the fine is $1,000, and that's
correct.
That's a lot of real money. Parker's got 16 seconds to get this shot off.
I've never seen Parker have a shot clock violation before.
He's not a slow bowler. Perfect. And he cuts into that big lead of Mike Aulby. It's down to 30 pins.
Going to a lane he has not missed in this game, and he can cut it to 20 with another strike here.
There's Jim Rudolph, the proprietor of Olympic Lanes Harmer. We were up at his lovely center all week. And now we're down at the college. Robert Morris.
We're a duet. Marshall. He banks it. Oh, it came back.
Oh, that ball went as wide as any he's thrown the entire 2 games he's bowled.
Woo! He hung that over the edge. That ball was halfway in.
He knows this ball is wide. He's going, oh my gosh, should I throw another one in the gutter? Look at what's coming back.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. 20 pins. Ooh, that's a lot of room. That's a lot of room. Boy, he could have had a lot more than just the 3-pin.
Very fortunate that the 7-pin did not accompany the 3-pin on that particular delivery. That ball got well wide of target, but he got away with it. As our lead is now 19 pins for Aulby, and Mike knows that he's in a very, very difficult match.
At the 3-pin should present no problem.
He stuck a little bit, but no problem making the 3-pin.
On Friday, November the 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern, it's the Franklin Templeton Shark Shootout featuring, of course, Greg Norman, Tom Kite, Curtis Strange, and others competing for the $1.1 million in prize money. See all the great shots right here on ESPN.
Well, here's that very important 9th frame. If he should strike here, he does control his destiny, and Parker cannot shut him out.
He likes it. It's close, he said.
Oh. A very polite strike.
Don't hit him too hard, just hard enough.
As we watch his ball rolling down the lane, you can see, as I said, it was a polite kind of strike, just barely nudges out the 7-pin.
Parker now. Big shot. 9th frame, trailing by 19.
Needs to keep the strikes going. As he's got only 3 seconds and he gets this shot off, there'll be no fine.
Oh, it carried.
That ball held pocket. It looked like it was creeping up a little high, Mike Durbin. It hung on.
Parker now gearing himself for the 10th frame. Well, if he strikes out, what does he get, Marshall?
259. Aulby can still shoot 268. This is a great final.
2 great players. This is just what you would expect.
Well, you would not expect them to be having a low-scoring match. They're very, very competent players, very confident players. And now here's just another very important shot for Parker Bohn.
This is to take the lead for the first time.
I believe something distracted Parker on that delivery.
Everybody looking on from Bayer, from Harbor Lanes, Olympic Harbor Lanes.
Well, I don't know what it was that distracted Parker, but it didn't distract him enough for him not to get that strike. And boy, he really trusted that last shot. And that's the lane that he dropped it in the gutter on the last game.
Leading by 1, trying to make it to 11. He does!
What a great shot. Once again, Parker Bohn giving it his best shot, putting it right on Mike Aulby. Mike knows he can still get a double to win.
Parker's reaction.
Take a look at the way these pins respond. This is absolute dead flush, no problem, perfect shot, and a great reaction from Parker Bohn. He wants to win this tournament. And there's still a chance at a tie. If he were to get 8 pins on this delivery,
we could have a tie.
We could have a tie.
He's looking for 10.
He needs at least 9. He's put it right on him.
He got 10 and finished with 10 strikes in 2:59. Aulby needs what, Marshall?
He has to strike in the 10th and the second ball. He needs 2 strikes to win. Anything less, Parker Bohn's our champion. One of the great clutch bowlers, Mike Aulby.
That's 1.
He keeps his emotions in check, and he's ready to throw this next shot. It just never surprises me how Mike is able to make the great shots when he needs them, but he needs to make a great shot and carry.
Trailing by 11. A strike here puts him in the 260s.
Actually, trailing by 1 right now, Mike Durbin.
Right, trailing by 1. A strike puts him in the 260s and wins the Bayer Brunswick Touring Players Championship.
And one of the great matches of any tournament I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Mike Aulby, opportunistic as always. With the key messenger strike. There's Aulby's Army. And you have to feel for Parker Bohn. He did his best work, but 259 is not going to be enough to win this tournament. Mike just needs to stay behind the foul line, keep it on the lane. Parker did everything he could do. It wasn't enough. What a great champion. Mike Aulby is...
Two good finish. That can make it work, huh?
Two good finishes.
Thanks for making me work. What a great, great match.
Mike Aulby is your winner. 268. Parker Bohn, 259. There's your champion. Stay tuned. The Touring Players Championship is brought to you by Bayer. We cure more than headaches. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
Mike, what a fantastic finish. Opportunistic as always. What was going through your mind in that 10th frame?
Well, you know, you keep telling yourself that's the way you want to end it if you can end it. And, you know, thanks to the mental training I have from Eva Burich and all the support I get from home and everyone. And from Bayer and Brunswick, thank you for doing everything perfectly for us here in Pittsburgh. Thank you very much.
All right, Mike. Parker Bohn really put it on you. I think it was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. He made you get those strikes in the 10th frame.
I usually don't like to look, but I took a peek, and boy, I didn't like what I saw. But, you know, I was fortunate enough to come through in the 10th, make a couple good shots, and get a great break and roll F7.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you again.
For Marshall Holman, this is Mike Durbin saying so long from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Mike Aulby has won the Bayer Brunswick Touring Players Championship. Be sure to join ESPN in January. That's January the 12th at 12:30 p.m. for the Japan Cup. Stay tuned now for the quarterfinals of the World Masters Billiards Championship. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the world